Call to order.
You want me to do the roll call?
Yeah.
Do we pledge of allegiance first? Okay.
No.
Shannon Martell. Absent. Brandon Partain.
Here.
Jason Evans.
Here.
Vice Chair Young.
Here.
Chair Billions.
Here.
Renata York. Here. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. Okay, I have assigned Vice Chair Young to keep time for me on these different agenda items so that we can try to keep this to an hour and a half. We don't like going over an hour and a half. So, all right, we're going to go on to number 3, general public comment, and we've got Tom Green.
Okay, perfect. My name's Tom Green. I'm a resident of Spanish Springs. I came before you guys today because I want to express my deep concern with the RTC and this planned ROAD that they want to do over the mountain. And I just want to say this. I will acknowledge, anybody with a brain would acknowledge that we need to do something. There's a serious traffic problem. The most logical first step is to widen I-80. That's what should have been done to begin with, but it wasn't. So the problem I have with the road is, number one, it's 2 lanes. So 1 lane each way, that's it. We can see Highland Ranch, how visionary that was and why that's a nightmare now. Pyramid Highway, for those of us that lived out here before, was 2 lanes. Vista was 2 lanes. Poor planning from the get-go. So this is poor plan number 1. Number 2, all of the traffic from the North Valleys will use that road. They will not go, who in their right mind, if I live in Stead, would drive all the way through I-80 to the Spaghetti Bowl and then north through that nightmare to get home? I wouldn't. I would go right over the hill, pop over Highland Ranch. All these roads are not designed to handle that much traffic. Then if there's an accident or some weather issue or something like that, everyone is going to come over that road. And the reason we know that already is they're seeing a ton of traffic out towards Palomino Valley on Pyramid Highway from people diverting to avoid this traffic and coming in through Nixon and up through towards Sutcliffe and coming in that way. Never designed for that. So, RTC saying, well, this is the best plan. No, this is Ed Lawson's part 2 to a failed toll road. That's what this is. And we know he sits on the RTC. And we know that he's got this vision for converting all of our public lands over to government use. But this is a nightmare, and I would hope that any power that anybody has, including our commissioner, to push back against this idea. There's better ideas, and we need to come up with them, but this is not it. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next person that is signed up to speak is Donnie Olson. Did I say that right?
You did.
Okay, good job. All right.
Well, I am echoing a lot of Tom Green's comments. Sounds like you all know about this proposed road and everything, so I'm not going to go over that. But I do feel that a 2-lane highway with 1 entrance and 1 exit in case of emergencies is ludicrous to me. Why is it 1 lane in each way? It should at least be 2. If this is going to go forward with all the development out here, at least make it 2 lanes each direction. We have to consider emergencies, weather. Are big rigs going to be allowed to take this road? Is it going to be a toll road, which is not allowed in Nevada per the NRS? And I can't remember the code right now, but toll roads are not allowed here. 45 miles an hour, really? So that means 60 at least. Nobody goes 45 in a 45. It just sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. I think the optional part of La Posada, extending it up and over and joining with Golden Eagle is ludicrous. I mean, this is rural out here. We have equestrian, we have horses, people ride horses. It's family. There's buses, school children going to and from school on La Posada, and you're going to have all this traffic coming north on Pyramid, which is a nightmare already, as everybody probably knows. I just think some deep thought and common sense needs to be given to this issue. It is an issue, but how about other options? I thought a while back, the train option was a good idea. You know, there's already a railroad track to get maybe a park and ride to get people out to that area. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like powers that be come up with a better plan. And I oppose it. I just think it's crazy. So that's all I have to say. But I do hope everybody considers the what ifs, the emergencies that do occur. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to switch to item 16 right now, because it's the commissioner announcements. I just want to alert you that when she gets to item 16, we're going to talk about how you can express your opinions to RTC, so that they hear you loud and clear. All right. So now Rob and Veronica want to do 14, item 14. Right, so we're going to move on now to item number 4, approval of the minutes for the meeting of November 5th.
Motion to approve. I second.
I'm sorry, who moved and who seconded?
Rob or Bradley motioned it and
Jason second.
Jason second. Okay. How are we doing on time? We're good?
Go.
Okay. So now we're going to introduce our update from Jen Gustafson, Washoe County Deputy District Attorney. Thank you, Joni. And she will be online. Welcome, Jennifer. I guess it's Jen, not Jennifer. I don't know if she can hear me.
All right. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, it's great to see you all. My name's Jen Gustafson. I'm one of the deputy district attorneys, and I'm just here to provide the Spanish Springs CAB with a brief update about the plan to update and revise some of the legal documents related to the CABs tonight. So last year, so being calendar year 2025, Washoe County made some updates to the Washoe County Code, Chapter 5 provisions related to the CABs. And during the first half of this year, staff is working on updates to the standard bylaws, which are applicable to the CABs, and also to the resolutions for each CAB, and specifically the updating the boundary maps for the CABs. Those are attached to the resolutions. So as far as the bylaws, there is a standard set of bylaws for the CABs, and those very much need to be updated. I'm sure most of you understand that bylaws are your guidelines. They're the standard operating procedures for setting up board meetings, for conducting board meetings. That's essentially what the bylaws govern. And one of the things that's going to inform the bylaws is that there are some new federal digital accessibility requirements that are going into effect in a few months here. So the supporting materials for items on board agendas are now going to need to meet those digital accessibility requirements. That means that the timeline for getting supporting materials to county staff is going to have to be a little bit longer to cover the necessary conversions of some of those documents to make sure that we're complying with federal requirements. So that's kind of one of the new things that's in play when we're looking at the bylaws and updating the bylaws, making sure that timelines are met, open meeting law requirements are met, things of that nature. So we do expect to have a draft of the standard bylaws posted for members of the public to make comments on, to provide suggestions on. Timeline is looking at the end of February. We're looking to have a draft of those posted. And then the standard bylaws, the plan is that those would go to the Board of County Commissioners seeking their approval sometime in the late spring. So April, May timeframe as far as the Board of County Commissioners actually approving standard bylaws. As I mentioned, the second documents that are going to be amended are the resolutions which create the CABs, primarily to adjust the GIS mapping for the CAB boundaries. One of the things that last year's code amendment did was require the county to adjust the geographical boundaries of the cabs so that they fall within a single commissioner district. So staff has had some initial discussions with each of the commissioners about the cabs in their districts, and the end result's likely going to be an expansion of several, if not many, of those cab boundaries. So the timeline that the Board of County Commissioners needs to approve adjustments to the cab boundaries, that is going to be completed by the end of June, if everything goes well. And that's basically my little update for you. So, please, I'm sure Commissioner support team will be reaching out when those bylaws are ready for public comment and seeking public feedback by the end of February. And then the plan is to bring those boundary adjustments, those GIS mapping, to the Board of County Commissioners at some point early June. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your.
Thank you, Jan. We appreciate you letting us know what's coming up.
Sure thing.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to agenda item number 6. And this is just part of our dignity and respect towards our community, is that when you come up and do a public statement, we want an opportunity to tell you that your voice matters. And so what we always do is we can't respond to you during the time that you make that public statement, but we try to get back to you the next month because we can put it on the agenda. So here is the chair report from the previous meeting of getting back to people that had used our QR code, by the way, is always on the back of your agenda. That little QR code is where you can put your suggestions or comments or in that QR code. So the previous report from the input portal, a resident requested a CAB presentation about the Dark Skies Initiative. And so that is going to be discussed today. Another comment came through the portal sharing that housing construction needs to be paused until road and traffic is addressed. And that information went to the Community Service Department of Washoe County. Then a comment came in through the input portal requesting more infrastructure for biking, parks, and trails. And this was sent to the Community Services Department that oversees those parks and trails. A fourth comment came in through the input portal requesting opportunities for residents to weigh in on regional decisions and topics without having to attend the CAB meetings. And so there are many input opportunities that we present at each CAB meeting. Candy presents that agenda item. I can't remember the item number, but it's not on the agenda. And there are lots of ways to talk to the right department. So there's the Board of County Commissioners, appointments like the Planning Commission or the Board of Adjustment, and Washoe 311. If you don't know who to talk to, Washoe 311 will help direct your call. The fifth comment, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth comment came in through the input portal requesting topic tagged text SMS lists that residents can subscribe to on specific topics they care about. And this was shared with the Communications Department of Washington, which has already established a working group that will be testing and rolling out a chatbot and text communications in the future. So we'll keep you informed about that. And the last one, I think it's great that you're using this QR code. This is the most I've gotten on the QR code. A suggestion was made that in the input portal, there should be a way for those who submit input to hear what was done with the request. Absolutely. And it was our board member Brandon that suggested that we do this updates each time from the previous meeting. And that's out of respect for you. So in response to this, an additional feature was added to the portal that now offers a prompt to add contact information if desired, so that they may be followed up with directly. And then we also do this monthly CAB meeting announcement. So anytime you speak, there is address, phone, and email that you can put on the form to speak, and that you'd like to be contacted directly, and somebody will contact you directly. Okay, so that was agenda 6, item 6. So we're going to move on to the dignity index discussion. And this is it's a non-action item. So what I'm going to ask my board members is to have a discussion with together that we're about this dignity index. And I have to say, and I'm not speaking just for myself, I think everyone in this room has been met with contempt, either in the workplace, in your family relationships, and even in public meetings. And contempt causes division. So for example, my brother is very strongly opinionated on one political agenda. And he's become unsafe for me to talk to because I feel I want to maintain a relationship with him and I don't want to be attacked and I don't want to be embarrassed. So I don't say anything. And I'm sure that all of us have been in that situation in one form or another. And so that's why we're going to look at the Dignity Index, and to introduce it, I'd like to show 3 films. They're very short, they're about a minute each. And I just like to introduce that. And then we're going to talk amongst our board members of how, here's the question, how can we integrate this into future meetings? That's the question. All right, so could you play?
It seems to me that all the
I wanted the dignity pledge first. Is that going to be a problem for you, Candy? Okay, so this one is talking about strong relationships help solve problems. When you feel safe to talk to somebody and debate, you can solve problems.
We believe that there's no America without democracy.
There is no democracy without healthy debate.
and there is no healthy debate without treating each other with dignity.
Look, for the first time in the history of polling, more than half of Americans don't think we can solve our problems. Over 100 million Americans have ended a relationship within their family or within their close friends. What's at stake when we dehumanize one another is the mental health of our children, the strength of our relationships, and the confidence we have that our country will make it.
The cause of division is contempt. Contempt is basically saying, if you don't agree with me, I'm attacking you. Well, what that means is free speech for me, but not for you. And dignity is the absolute opposite of that. A dignity culture is say what you think, but in a way that encourages other people to say what they think.
Many people would say, well, that's never going to happen. It's human nature to dehumanize. It's also human nature to show compassion. It's also human nature to show bravery in the face of adversity.
We ask people to pledge then to do more to treat others with dignity and not contempt. So if you're an educator, if you're an elected official, if you're a business manager, we want you. The movement starts one person at a time and grows. And before you know it, we have the dignity movement that has spanned the entire country.
The second video that I'd like for you to play is the cause of division is contempt. And this talks about if we want to be unified, our family or our neighborhood or our country, it talks about how we can achieve that unity. And again, it's just a little over a minute long.
It seems to me that all the inventing and exploring we've done in the history of human beings has never uncovered one thing that is more important or more a mark of human progress than how we treat each other. We tend to believe that our divisions come from grand global forces, or the rise of social media, or the decline of institutions, or the loss of trust, or the intensity of our disagreements. But it's not so. If you're wondering where division comes from, it comes from contempt. And this is power. Because if we believed that those large global forces are the cause of our divisions, then we just sit around hopelessly waiting for our luck to change. But if we understand that contempt causes division and dignity eases division, then we suddenly are in a position to change our behavior and improve our relationships, and not just our personal relationships, but our political relationships as well. Everyone should be treated with dignity. No one should be treated with contempt. It's the only way to achieve a unity that can honor the diversity of our views.
In the very last video, I can only work on myself, right? And so I like to know, what kinds of words or phrases, when I'm in the middle of those discussions and a lot of contempt is happening, I need to take a pause and say, what am I doing to contribute to this? And what are some words or phrases that can help guide my own behavior. And so that's overcoming contempt.
It is extremely hard to be in emotional pain and not try to find someone to blame. Your brain just goes there. But if I'm working with the Dignity Index and I'm looking at phrases that people use and I'm understanding the dignity and contempt in each, and I've trained myself to recognize words and phrases as signals of contempt, then when I see that happen, I draw back. Because contempt is so ugly. Can we get a grip on this? Can we see our own contempt? Can we see how toxic it is? Instead of trying to throw contempt on someone, can I pause? Can I understand that I'm in emotional pain? So yes, things are bad, but this is an opportunity for things to get better than they ever were.
Okay, and so now to open up the discussion with the board members, I do want to let the audience know that we have the Dignity Index. It's a scale of 1 to 8, 1 being they're not even human. It's our moral duty to destroy them before they destroy us. And it goes all the way up to number 8, which says each one of us is born with inherent worth. So we treat everyone with dignity no matter what. And then on the backside, I always love this one, be curious, not furious. And then we have some dignity principles and diffuse contempt with things when things get hot. Here's some things that, you know, I intend to work on for myself with my brother and with anyone else in, you know, the community that I run across. All right, so board members, can we just, and then Brandon's going to scribe for us. And so I'd just like to ask you this question. How do you feel about integrating this into future meetings? What are your thoughts about that? And how can we integrate it?
So that's a good question.
It is a good question, isn't it? Do you think it has a room in a public meeting?
Be curious, not furious.
Be curious, not furious.
Ask more questions. We all drive the same roads. We understand what's going on, but let's ask more questions before we're so angry that this is happening right now.
So asking more questions about RTC or NDOT and be
Or just
curious.
progress.
Yeah.
Like, is it even in the future? Do they even understand that this is a hazard? Because those are the things that we're not privy to. Don't know. We're not there. Just know we're sitting in traffic.
It's affecting our quality of life.
Affecting everything.
So can you write that one down, Brandon, about asking more questions of RTC and yes, and I will ask the audience for questions after we discuss it.
A little louder.
Speak a little louder, yes. Renata, can you speak a little bit louder about what you just said?
I was saying, be curious, not furious. Instead, like, we drive the same roads and we don't like it either, but we're not the ones at the podium expressing that. But we're open to more questions to find out what is the progress. Do they understand? Is there a board that we can speak on and tell them your plan is not working? Or this is happening with your current plan. Are there any more ideas? Because no one knows everything, and it takes a community that we all have to live in to build something that's going to be beneficial for everyone.
So, you know, in taking that statement, when you say be curious, not furious about the traffic and addressing the questions to the right organization or the right outlet. So one thing that we could do in the meetings is always have the maybe a QR code that they could scan. Like tonight, Commissioner Andriola is going to give an RTC code for feedback for the RTC plan of that road going over La Posada. And so that would be good that they respond to that. And if we could encourage that in our meetings, that's one way that we could integrate this dignity index in future meetings. Yeah. Any other input from the board members about how can we integrate this in future meetings? Is it important enough that we do something with it each meeting?
Oh, maybe a question for
Jen in the development of the bylaws, but is it possible for the Spanish Springs cab to incorporate into its bylaws that we intend to, treat each other with dignity as laid out here?
Okay, so can you write that down, integrate it into future bylaws? That's another idea. What do you think about playing like a short video at the beginning of each CAB meeting and speaking about the dignity index? Do you think that would help or not? Or what are your thoughts about that?
It would depend. I mean, if they're short, I mean, it can always just be all of us, be open and, if you disagree, I don't want to always just make it about roads, but if you disagree with something, but also be open to other solutions, but also be open to maybe my thought process is wrong and somebody else's solution is more appropriate. So just having that open mind, being open to, I don't want to say being wrong, but be open to changing your mind on the topic.
Okay, being open to changing your mind on a topic.
Been open-minded, not closed-minded.
And open it to other perspectives. Any other ways that we might integrate it into the CAB meetings? I mean, I do like Brandon's idea. What we have been doing is, the CAB report from previous requests and resolutions. I think that shows a lot of dignity and respect for the community. So I'd like to continue that, the chair report.
Or could we even, where we have the locations for public comment in the agenda, we have the rules that say it's going to be this long and it's not open for discussion. Would it be possible, and this may be another question for Jim, but would it be possible to add that person in public comment will provide comment treating everyone with dignity in their comments?
Okay, and include that in the bylaws. Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, include it in the meeting agenda.
Oh.
So where you see like item 3 public comment, we have the rules that say it's this long and it can be about anything in the community. And we just add a sentence in there about treating everyone with dignity in those comments.
Okay, so a written comment on agenda 3 and agenda 14.
Sure.
Okay, I think that's another nice reminder.
I think it'd be a passive approach, which would be good. I think just getting, knowing our neighbors, fortunately, except when we get to roads, everyone has an opinion on the roads. But for the most part, people, do very well and they appreciate everyone's opinions. And I think if it was done properly, again, if it was injected in the agenda, and then we could do a trial basis and see what the feedback is from our constituents.
Okay.
I think that always works well. And so if we did want to, if you wanted to include this in the meeting for the next, say 6 meetings, and start out with a short video and short discussion, ask for the feedback and see if it's well received. Some people might say, you know what, we really don't care for it.
Okay.
But other people might say, hey, you know what, it's a nice reminder. So I would suggest that.
Like a trial.
Feedback loop of some kind from the community on whether or not they find this valuable or not. I think that's a really good idea, is have the feedback loop too. I always think that what we present as the dignity index, it's useful tools not only for meetings in your neighborhood, but even for your family relationships and personal relationships. So I think it can be applied in lots of aspects of our lives. So I'd like to just open it up. How are we doing with time? Can I open it up and get some feedback from the audience right now? I get 5 minutes. Okay. Audience, yes, please.
I'm gonna be the naysayer,
Okay.
but in a positive way. I like where you're going. Oh, you want me up there? Sorry.
And say your name.
Your name for the.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Tom Green, again, Spanish Springs. So I'm gonna be the naysayer only in that it's a slippery slope, because the First Amendment allows me to come up here and address all of you because you're an extension of the government and say things that are prickly, not nice, abrasive, even mean, I guess. You know, I can't scream fire in a theater, but I can certainly come up here and use disparaging terms, even swear probably, I think the Supreme Court said. Now, I wouldn't do that because I try to be a gentleman, but I would just be careful with that. And the other piece is the deliverer of this message, Mr. Shriver, or whatever his name is. There's a whole political issue with that guy. And so I guess the problem is find somebody wholesome that doesn't dip their toe one side or the other in a political well. I know that's hard to do. And have them be your ambassador for such a thing. But I mean, I like a dignity index. I like what you're saying. And I think even if you opened the meeting with just your heartfelt concerns of how we treat each other and how we communicate and how we can do it more effectively, that was good. It made me think about the way I talk to people because I can be abrasive and prickly and all those other things. So I know. Thank you.
Thank you for that input. Is there anybody else? Yes, Joni.
Tony Hammond. I'd like to know what problem we're trying to solve. I've been attending a lot of CAB meetings and I do see people get riled up when we talk about traffic. I get riled up when I have to drive in traffic. So I don't see the issue here. So what I don't want is we have a limited amount of time with you as chair, and I appreciate that. You want to limit it to an hour and a half. How much time is this going to take? Perhaps like Tom suggested, maybe mention it. Let's try to treat each other as all neighbors nicely, but let's not start pushing the First Amendment where we're going to have to regulate ourselves for what we say.
Thank you. Can you make sure that you put that down, that don't trample on the First Amendment? I think that's important too. Do we have, yes, go ahead, Renata.
The First Amendment and the Dignity Index, and I could be understanding it incorrectly, so that's why I wanted to ask. I don't take this as saying, don't say those prickly words, because sometimes the hard things need to be said, because if they're not said, they're never addressed. I think what the Dignity Index is trying to promote, and I don't know the writer, and I'm not very political, so I have no idea about any of that, I'm sorry. I think what they're saying is attack the issue, not the person.
Yeah.
So more so of don't attack the messenger type of a situation. Say the prickly words, say the angry things. We need to get them out. We need to know what's going on. If it's causing this much of frustration, yes, this needs to be addressed, but don't attack, I guess, the cab, Commissioner Andriola. We're just a small piece of a really large picture, and we can take your information and pass it to where it needs to go, or work on those QR codes so that you can get those messages across while you're sitting here. Scan it and send it to them as we're going through it. That way you have more direct access to it. But I did not, and I could be wrong, I did not take the Dignity Index as to say, we're going to police what you say. Like, don't, I didn't take it as that. And like I said, I could be wrong.
I would say to kind of take off of that, where the Dignity Index comes across as like a little reminder of, hey, talking to my neighbors. But if you then choose to use the prickly words, be disparaging, that is very much a First Amendment right. So it's not saying you can't say this. It's like, hey, think about who you're talking with. It's your neighbors and, you know, people that live around you. But if you choose to use those words, that is definitely your First Amendment right.
And I also like what Renata said, if we can just put that down too, is don't attack the person, attack the issue. Yeah, and as far as Joni, I think it's really important that I don't think it was ever an intention on my part, for sure, for this to take up a lot of time. It's just a quick reminder. So no, it's taking up time this time because I wanted feedback from the community on this. And I also wanted feedback from the board members. So I appreciate that. And I think our time is up on that topic. Yep. Yes. So thank you for that feedback. I really appreciate that. So the next one is the CAB meeting schedule. And the CAB, if you could look at this one that's got the red marks on it, that's what we approved last time. But when I talked to each of the board members individually, they had some great feedback And always remind that we want to be flexible, and we also want to make sure that our topics are relevant to our community, Spanish Springs. What are our neighbors thinking about? What are they worried about? What are they upset about? That's what we want to bring here. So I want to just have a discussion about this. This is item number 8 and item number 9 kind of combined. The first question I want to ask the board members is, and this is for possible action, and so that I will present to the audience in just a few minutes. Not having a meeting in August and December, is that something you still support? And if so, why?
I support it. That's, we already kind of went, we already flushed it out. That is, you know, it's usually August is our least attended event. And then also December is the holidays. Let's get down, you know, it's the holiday time. And we're just very fortunate not having a snowstorm right now. Last year, we had a foot of snow out here with us. So, but again, I would just say that we went from 8, then we went to 10. And then we all agreed that August and December were two good months to you know, furlough, if you will.
Any other opinions on that from the board?
Fully support what Vice Chair Bradley said there.
Okay. Okay, so because it's for possible action, I'm now going to turn it to the audience. Do any of you have any opinions? Are you okay with us not having a meeting in August? They're shaking their heads, yes. Is there anyone opposed to this idea of not having a meeting in August or December? Any opposition to that? No. Okay, so then we are going to keep it as is, no meeting in August or December. Okay, so now as far as the CAB topics for future meetings, I've got some down, the ones that in red. Oh, yes.
Would you like to procedurally call for a motion in a second?
Oh, sure.
We vote on it?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
Thank you. I always forget about that little detail. Is there a motion? Is there a motion to keep August and December as a non-meeting?
Jason Evans, I motion that we keep 10 meetings with August and December being off.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Andriella. All right, so now we're going to move to agenda number 9. So these are the actual topics themselves. The ones marked in red are already kind of set in stone because we plan way ahead. It takes time to arrange and get the speakers to commit. And I have to say, Commissioner Andriola and Candy both work really hard in getting these speakers to commit to a time. So the ones in red, well, it's January strategic planning, and the one in October is emergency preparedness, which we've already arranged with that speaker.
Does everybody have this?
I think everybody has this. If you don't,
That's what-
it's
no, they
up
don't
here at the
have it.
table.
We have these?
So I think some important feedback that I got from the CAB members when I talked with them individually. One was for the March. And again, this was individual feedback. So for the March meeting, if we're discussing coexisting with wildlife, such as deer and coyote and mustangs, I know part of our initial discussion was about reaching out to Nevada Department of Wildlife. However, hesitant about that because I don't want it to turn into speaking on permits and hunting. I think that the topic was like, how can we coexist with our wildlife? And we could also try the Reno Fish Wildlife Office, or we could reach out to the UNR Extension team. I'm hoping to steer the conversation from considering these animals as nuisances and instead co-inhabitants we should be protecting as well as relocating if needed. And she was specifically, she was thinking about beavers creating dams in the middle of a subdivision. And so that is the focus for the March one. Is there any other discussion on March? Do you agree with what is being said here, that we concentrate on coexisting with our wildlife?
I mean, I agree. I mean, I think, you know, I think I also like this idea, it's definitely, we're in a suburban area, it's not hunting and, but you'll see a lot of people, worried about the coyotes, the bobcats, you're now starting to see incursion of wolf in one county over in California. So,
read that.
I mean, I think those are things that people need to be cognizant about and what animals you would expect to see, how and what not to do with them. Would be beneficial, and whatever agency best oversees that in the state of Nevada, I think would be appropriate.
Is there any other comments from the board on that March meeting? Okay.
Can I have? If we have that in March, how many people would like to come and listen?
Well, I would need a little bit more clarity as to exactly where you're going with this. I mean, what is it you're trying to achieve?
So the
You
topics.
one with the animals or?
Yeah, coexist with them.
Okay.
So for example, Sierraville, there's a wolf pack that is attacking ranchers' cattle
Okay.
in Sierraville.
Oh, gosh.
And they believe it's some of the wolf packs from the ones that were planted in Montana that they have moved down. And so Fish and Game has provided the citizens of that community with some proactive things they can do to keep the coyotes away. Loud noise, lights, and rubber bullets, not real bullets. And the farmers, of course, that's not solving it for them. And so that community is now trying to figure out, well, what can I do? So if you're having a problem with some wildlife, is there a way that you can coexist with them and prevent the coyotes from jumping the fence and eating your cat or your dog? Rattlesnakes. I have a neighbor that actually hunts rattlesnakes right behind our housing development. And he doesn't kill the ones that look like rattlers, but he does kill the rattlesnakes. Oh, they're all over the Hoover Hill mountain range. They have nests up there. So that was the focus of that topic. And the topic came as a result of when we planned back in September, what topics would be interesting for Spanish Springs residents. This was one that came up. Okay. Okay.
Sorry, Bonnie.
Yeah.
Is the plan here to one by one, just agree on month by month what we have, or should we try to lay out 10 topics that we want and disperse those, or I guess what's the strategy?
Oh, so the strategy, we've already voted on this for the 2026, and I'll get down to the bottom because there's some other ideas that have come up. And so just getting feedback and clarity. I mean, I thought that was good feedback for the March one. Let's focus on coexistence and not hunting. The April one, we already have a request from the community that RTC updates us not only on rideshare, but on electric vehicles, what's happening with the electrical vehicle taxing. So May, the outdoor recreation and natural attractions, local history and heritage, Indian colony. So there was a suggestion that we might have Art Town come and discuss their upcoming event. I don't know how many people would be for that. Yeah, well, the one, it plays a big part in organizing some of these. And then Michonne from the Indian Reservation, she does the Cultural Resources Department. I really enjoyed having her this last year. Michonne is from the tribe, and she did a great presentation this last year. And is the board okay with keeping the Indian culture involved? They are our neighbors. Okay. And then for the city of Sparks, I think some of you, and I have, Brandon, I think you had some input on that one. Was it to provide a calendar of events at that meeting? For the Parks and Rec Department?
I'll get back to you.
Oh, you'll get back to me. Okay. All right. I might have that email here somewhere. Bradley, here it is. Here it is, Brad. No, that's Bradley's. No, that's from Brandon. Here, Brandon, it's right here. You might want to speak to some of the information that you had.
On the record.
I'll hold you to it.
Yeah.
No.
May, or anything that you feel strongly about when you gave me that input. And again, folks, this is the purpose of this discussion, is to make sure that we're putting topics that you're going to come to, that you're interested in.
And that's one of the reasons I asked, you know, everybody here, you're up at this table, how many people would be interested in the March event, for example? It could be very interesting. I don't know the speaker personally.
I think that's good.
But it could be interesting, and how many people would, you know, not everything is gonna be on roads and planning. I come from state and city government, so I'm a planner, but not every meeting is gonna be that way. You know, we're gonna have softer topics. And really that as Bonnie has brought in, along with our commissioner, you know, some other more benevolent ideas, you know, getting along, if you will, in the dignity, you know, our animals, et cetera.
Yeah, I mean, I just entered the master gardening program and oh my gosh, the meeting was here in this room, it was packed.
Oh, yeah.
And there were a lot of people that were interested in, let's share some of our gardening ideas. So that was one of them, but go ahead, Brandon, what would you like to say about your input?
A couple of things that when I thought about meetings, what was important to me, specifically for the month of May, because by April 15th, the county has already submitted its tentative budget to the State Department of Taxation. I thought that would be a good time to have someone like Lori Cook to come and provide a slimmed down version of the Budget 101 presentation, where they could not only discuss the Washoe County budget in general, but specifically some things that are tentatively upcoming in the proposed budget that would be submitted the month prior. And then the only other thing that I enjoyed since my time on the CAP here, I really enjoyed, it was a well-attended meeting with the Planning Commission, and Rob is here with us in the back, and he made it very clear to us how important it is for people who are having difficulty with developments in the community to submit findings of fact, because there are, I think it's 7 tenets of findings of fact that developers have to or cannot run up against, right? And if the community is able to submit those things, then the Planning Commission, it's their responsibility to deny those developments. And I think it would be interesting somehow for some of those findings of fact to be presented to the community as examples. If you are thinking of something, but you're having difficulty developing something, maybe this could give some people ideas as how to, you know, guard your neighborhood from some of the things that you see are happening, and see how that has been implemented in effect in the county.
Yeah, and a good example is, well, really many, there are a lot of community meetings that we get from the county. And probably not everyone gets them, but we get them now. And then we attend them. We attended them last.
Right.
And then I've attended probably 3 in this room, and a couple at a couple schools. And again, it's a warehouse building. You know, and that's where the traffic's discussed. Again, water, power, there's a lot that goes into it. And those are well attended. So I agree with you. You know, I think there's nothing wrong with having perhaps 2 presentations within the year on that. One presentation along with a follow-up update.
Yeah, I think that the planning one was a really popular one and it was very informative for me. I learned a lot about what the Planning Commission goes through, the steps that they have to go through before something is even approved. So that was great learning. And so that's the November meeting that, you know, I think would be important. And then I really liked your suggestion too about the Budget 101. I think the Washoe County budget is pretty complex. And I know that Commissioner Andriola worked really hard to get the open checkbook. And so, you know, that might be part of that Budget 101 presentation is how do you access that? What can you learn from it? What are you curious about? So that May meeting might change from
Yeah.
outdoor rec and natural attractions to maybe Budget 101 is what I'm hearing.
And can we move the November meeting into more mainstream of the year? People can.
What
I
month?
think that's where Brandon was going.
Yeah.
The November meeting, move it up further.
Move this one up further.
Mhm.
Maybe swap it with March.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe a swap there.
Would that be Candy? Would that be too difficult on speakers?
Can you find out? Yeah, I think we could make that happen
That's the most important.
for the planning panel.
Right, because I know that when the bylaws change, I think that this CAB board, we do try to plan way in advance. And we know that that's important for you as a staff member to get them the accessibility and to get the speakers their updates cleared through you for presentation. So, all right, now I'd like to just turn it over to the audience because this is possible action. Is there any comment to some of the topics that we have talked about, or maybe there's something else that you would like to learn about? Joni, and please come up to the podium and state your name.
I would be very interested in having more presentations on things like the planning commission, where and how to provide public comment that matters. Because I go to a lot of public meetings and almost always it doesn't matter. The people aren't listening, whoever the governing body is, and most often it's too late. The decisions are already made. Getting back to what you said, it's so I don't have time to spend on things that are already decided. So I'll stop with that there. And also just a broader on anything you can do to where can we provide better comment and where are the governing bodies more open to comment. Usually the decisions are made.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to make input on this? Yes, Commissioner Andrilla.
I just thought of something. I was gonna throw out, I just thought of it. Because you guys all, this is what's so fun about strategic planning meetings is you throw these things out and then something else comes up. I was thinking, and by the way, thank you for that October 2nd, 2024 planning meeting, which was great. It took a lot of time to plan that and it would be great to have them come back. So thanks for putting that. But where I was going was, I was thinking there's a lot of confusion sometimes where just because if you're not familiar with whose jurisdiction does what is responsible for a commissioner, what is responsible for city council, how does federal and state, there are, I'll use the term, an opportunity, I think, to talk about from a community standpoint. If you're talking about this road, you're talking about federal. If you're talking about this ordinance, you're talking about Washoe County. If you're talking about something else, it might be in the city of Sparks, or it might be animal control, or maybe it's animal control doesn't do that. I'm just saying, I'm not talking about it being hours and hours of what every single jurisdictional body does. But I do think, how do they all work together and how can you better, it was Joni's point about how can we better communicate with the right people, with the right information. That's where I'm going. And so I think putting something like that together, I just came up with this, so I don't really have the exact breakdown of this idea, but I want to throw it out for consideration. I don't know how you all feel about it, but I do think it would be really helpful in order to navigate, to help you navigate. We certainly are not going to take 311's job. That's what 311 is there for. But I do think it's really, really helpful. So I would like to at least throw that out for consideration. Mm-hmm.
Would there be someone in Washoe 311
Yeah,
that could come here as an advocate for that system and to demonstrate the capability of that?
I think it'd be great. I think it's the most, I've been here almost 40 years. I didn't even know about it until I got into this adventure. And I think it's, I'm evangelizing it constantly. I feel like I'm going to get a tattoo, 311, because it is such a great resource for everyone. So I think that's another great idea. So thank you for the time.
Yeah, thank you. And I in respect to what Joni was saying too, it's sometimes when you give input, you don't even know what they did with your input. And so the feedback loop is sometimes missing and you don't know if you're voice had any impact at all. And I don't even know if that's possible with these other commissions, if they could provide some sort of feedback loop, like we do here at the CAB. We, report back to you at the next meeting, what we did with your comment. So, all right, so topic to help people to navigate, maybe include the 311. And I know that we've been not trying to have too many speakers at one meeting. And the Planning Commission is a really big one. And they gave a fantastic presentation in October. We all really learned a lot from that. So if we had a topic, we have to get rid of something. If we had a topic just to help people navigate and include 311, what might we dump on our proposed topics?
Can I ask what the February meeting is going to be?
Yes, I'm going to have Commissioner Andriola speak to that a little bit. Do you mind, Commissioner Andriola?
Sure.
And this will be part of agenda number 16. I would like her to speak on what the February topic is about.
I actually gave my copy away. What am I talking about?
That's a Hope
The Hope
team,
Oh,
Washoe
Hope.
County,
Oh,
and
okay.
City of
There
Sparks.
you go. So, a lot of times there are, questions about, who do you call if you see, an encampment or someone on a homeless person, or, what is the county doing, for instance, to address, homelessness, and how can you also, be able to, call the right folks? And so I have been on three ride-alongs with the Sparks Hope team. And by the way, the City of Sparks is the one who created the Hope team. And it stands for Homeless Operation Proactive Engagement. I can't believe I remember that. Homeless, right? And so the whole point, it's law enforcement. It's separate law enforcement in the sense they are law enforcement officers, but they wear a bit different uniforms. And I can go on and on and on, so I won't, just in the spirit of time. It is a very successful approach of incarcerating homeless on taxpayer dollars is not a solution. The jail is not the place to essentially address, in many cases, mental illness, addiction, and other things. Now, the jail, whether you're homeless or not, is a place for those that are breaking the law. So I'm not suggesting I'm defending anyone breaking the law, by the way. But I will say that the Washoe County Hope team is modeled and work very closely with the City of Sparks. So having both of them here in February will give you a better understanding of how they do this, how it works, how you can call, what is the resource, what does that look like, what is the success rate? And I think it would be extremely helpful for you to understand, because they're here in Spanish Springs, but they're also all over. So it's not just in this particular area, but I thought it would be really beneficial. So I hope that helps. Did I meet your?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's helpful. I know that you and I have talked about it, Commissioner, and I thought it was really interesting, because if you own a business, for example, in Spanish Springs, and you have a homeless camp in maybe one of your dumpster areas, this would provide you a solution of what the county could do to help you. For example, I have some neighbors that have a business in Oakland, and the homeless camp went right in front of their business, and they could do nothing. They couldn't even get into their yard for the electric.
But you can do something here.
You can do something
Find
here.
out, and you don't have to only be a business. You can be a property owner or a citizen. But there is, I think, a lot of information they can share that'll be helpful, and you can understand essentially where taxpayer dollars are going and how that's working. And I hope that we have an opportunity for them to also talk about the sequential intercept model. So there's more things. It's a complex problem because it's called being human. But the solution and how they're doing this and the actual data to support the success, I think would be also helpful. Not just talking about what they do, but what is the outcome of what they're doing, right? With your taxpayer dollars. So I hope that helps.
That does, but thank you. So a question to the community is that right now, February, we have the Hope Team, because not everybody has this handout. March, we have wildlife, how to coexist. April, I know we don't want to get rid of RTC. We all want RTC to come back and provide update for us. May is where we could maybe change it to the Budget 101 presentation instead of the outdoor rec and park. That's a possibility. June is NDOT. We don't want to get rid of Nevada Department of Transportation. We want to know what they're doing with the highway system. Yeah, and that's one of the things too, I'll say. July, people appreciated the Go Bag presentation last year. And so Go Bag is how you can prepare and be responsible for yourself. Out here in Spanish Springs, first responders may not get to us quick enough in an emergency. So how can you prepare yourself? That's for July. August, no meeting. September was emergency preparedness. And we've got the University of Nevada, I believe, Candy, and they have some presentation that they'd like to give to us, and they'd like to give us a little something at each CAB meeting. And I said, nah, that probably won't work, but they can always come for public comment. October is with Kelly, the emergency preparedness. And this one, she'll touch on ingress and egress, because I think that's one thing that we're all worried about. How are we going to get out of here if there's a major earthquake or a major fire? And I do know that talking with search and rescue team, just because my husband does the training for that team, it depends on the wind, which direction it's going, and where the fire is. So ingress and egress can change, but we know we are worried about, we only have one exit.
Madam Chair, the evacuation study will be done as well.
And the evacuation study will be done in October.
So that's why she's on it there.
Yes, okay. And then, so the November was our planning commission, and I think we could, on that one, Brandon and Joni, I think we could help people navigate by having 311 here for just a very brief presentation for November with the planning commission. I think we can squeeze that in. And so the other option was to take November and swap it with March. So planning commission in March, which I don't know if that's possible or not, but we're proposing that. So that's a lot to take in if you don't have this in front of you, but do you have any interest, some of the soft topics that we were talking about? Gardening. What kind of garden can you have? What do you do out here in Spanish Springs? I got some thumbs up on that. How many thumbs up on that one? Yeah. Another one was solar energy. Now, we're not gonna invite vendors here to sell you that stuff. But I think it's really important for you to know the pros and cons maybe of, should I get solar? Should I not? So that was another soft topic to deal with. Home improvement. Again, not promoting any vendor. Maybe talking to NV Energy. There's been some stories there. Update on the sewer system. We've got the sewer system for Washoe County. This was one of the QR code inputs. Somebody wanted an update on the sewer system. Does anybody want to know about the sewer system? There's one. Oh, well, there's a couple thumbs up on that. Dark skies is something that the Commissioner Andriola will talk about in agenda item number 16. And Nevada Division of Forestry, that's again another topic that we can put in the parking lot for possible topics next year. But again, we have voted on these topics. Right now, what we're going to do, and I'll ask for a motion. First motion will be to swap November with March. So in other words, we do planning commission in March and coexistence with wildlife in November. Do I have a motion?
I would make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so swapping those two. Then, let's see, the other one is, I think we should help people navigate, and we'll include that in the planning commission for the November presentation. How people navigate, how can they, be heard on other topics? And that will include 311. Giving a quick presentation.
It's in the 311. If it was only like 20 minutes.
That's what I was.
Oh, okay, so do you want to make a motion for that?
Well, I can make a motion. I was thinking in the February next month. It'd be interesting when the Hope team comes, but could we also have 311 in just to give an overview of it? Because again, coming from a larger city, the equivalent is useless. I'm sorry, that it's just, it doesn't work. But here in Washoe County, it does. It's a very effective product that the county has out there. And I think everyone would enjoy the presentation. It doesn't have to be 10 hours, but somebody could come in and just, maybe 15, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, Candy, what do you think?
We wouldn't have room for 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Because the Hope team, I don't know how much time, but we like to give the speakers at least 20 minutes and then allow questions, time for questions.
Yeah.
So.
Commissioner, what do you think? You know the people over there.
I think Madam Chair called for discussion.
Yes, I did.
Thank you. Such a procedure person.
Yeah. Well, you have to
We
be.
have to follow them. So
Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion. Maybe we can squeeze it into February.
I thank you, Madam Chair, for the opportunity to be a part of the discussion. I appreciate it.
Yes.
I would just offer a suggestion. I think, and the fact that the community changes in various ways for various reasons that we can't necessarily predict. And I think that maybe what you might be able to do is modify the motion to accept whatever it is that you're wanting to accept, with the ability to adjust and be flexible based on things that come up and also the planning of the timing of things. And that may give you the opportunity to move forward with the future agenda items that are on today's schedule.
Yes,
Just
I think that's
offering
a
a
suggestion,
suggestion.
because we do want to remain flexible, and I do not want to moving November to March might be problematic for the reasons that the commissioner explained. So I do want whatever motion we make, that it include that we will remain flexible and be respectful of the resources we have, may not be able to meet that time frame. So can I have another motion for moving November to March with that extra sentence flexibility?
It's kind of common sense. Like we had mentioned.
All
I
right.
don't think we did.
Well, can I have a second? I'm moving November to, did we already do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna move November to March with the understanding that we have to be flexible with the schedule. Okay, so May is the next one that we need to address. We're gonna have to either do outdoor rec or we're gonna have to do budget 101. We can't do both. Any comments on that from the board? No. Any comments from the audience? Any preference? Well, can I just have a raise a hand? I'm gonna ask you to raise your hand if you're in favor of outdoor recreation, and the second question will be, how many in favor of budget 101? So how many in favor of park and recs for May? 1. Okay, how many in favor of budget 101? All right, we have it. So can I have a motion to change May to budget 101?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
question.
Yes.
I know.
Oh, you're gonna go to the podium. Thank you, thank you. I always forget that too.
Well, my name is Paul and I live in Spanish Springs area. We just had a very informal raising of hands, and it was kind of unanimous that we wanted to talk about Budget 101 in that, what meeting
May.
was it?
May.
Whatever meeting, that May meeting. And we had one person for the outdoor rec. I guess what I would concern myself with is, we've agreed that it's Budget 101, but would Budget 101 be a presentation? Maybe we can maybe not even answer this right now, but would the Budget 101 be something, this is what it is. You can't change it. Okay, and do we want to then talk about something we can't change? If it's already there, it's there. It's like what we see with the roads going on. By the time it hits us, it's a done deal.
Right.
So maybe I don't know if that would change anybody's mind, but if something is already there and you can't change it, then I don't know why we would be discussing it. And I would say that's true of almost anything that we would want to talk about. If it's a done deal, it's a done deal.
Would you find any value in having it for just knowledge base of how the Washoe County budget works? Like the open checkbook, would that be of any value? Because I think that's what we
That's part of
were
it.
thinking,
That is.
knowledge
that
based.
idea is.
Yes, all the information you get is good information. You know more when you walk out than you did when you walked in.
That's right.
So that part's good. But how do what do we do with that information then?
Yeah, my thought process behind proposing the Budget 101 for May is, like I said, the prior month in April is when the tentative budget for Washoe County must be submitted to the state taxation department. So because the budget is a year-long process, that's why I think May is the perfect time to get in there, because at that point, we're going to talk about what's been submitted for the upcoming year, and then we're going to kick off the next year's process. And so if we are able to utilize the tools that are given to us in Washoe 311 and the other ways that we're empowered as citizens to contribute, having that information at May is a pivotal point for us to understand what was just submitted and where the process is going in the next cycle. That's my thought process.
So knowledge base more than decision or input.
Question on that.
Yeah, go ahead, Renata.
So with what you just explained and what he's asking, with that information, they want to know what exactly they're gonna do with it. So shouldn't we have things that are within that budget presented after we know what's in the budget? You know what I mean? Like if we're gonna go over, I'm just gonna say Washoe County and City of Sparks in February, but we won't know the actual budget until May. It's kind of like they said, it's already decided. We don't.
For one period, right? So if we brought them in before April 15th, they would kind of put their hands like this and say, well, it's a tentative budget and we haven't submitted it yet.
No, I get that part, but what I'm saying is for our community, when they show up and they get this budget information, are we gonna have like a QR code that says, okay, here's the budget, but this is what we would you like to see for next year? Can they then submit what they would like to see for the upcoming budget? Because now they've just reviewed the current budget. So now let's go ahead and put those ideas ahead of time, because what I'm hearing from the community is they don't feel like they're being heard. They don't feel like their voices matter, their opinions matter. They're saying these things are already done, so why are you bothering me about it? So to help kind of curb that feeling and make sure that everyone is being heard, when we get that budget layout, are they gonna have immediate access to say, this is what we'd like to see in January 2027 or March of 2020, whenever? Like, what can we do to connect them to the right voices? Like you were saying earlier, the right voices, the right places within the time frame of meeting the budget prior to the budget already being submitted, and you know what it is.
So you're advocating to have the Budget 101 presentation maybe in March?
No,
Or
no, no,
earlier, or
no,
later.
have it when it's supposed to be done.
I think
May.
the discussion is, what can we do with it?
Right, what do we do with
So
it if we have this
we got this
knowledge?
information and now we've seen, this is how the budget has been broken down for this 12-month cycle. Now our community members are saying, well, we think next year this should happen. And we also believe this should happen. And we also believe this should happen. will we have the resources for them to provide that feedback when they get this versus standing at the podium? They can actually QR code submit it to someone. It's going somewhere. So then we get the feedback loop that you were speaking of, and it's in time for next year in May or April, whenever that was, when they're doing their budget. They're submitting it prior to.
And this may be just a good point for, Candy or the commissioner and all of our guests that are coming to speak, to make it clear to them that when they address the community, we not only want to know the state of things now, but how we can participate in their upcoming activities. So that whoever is here, they need to make it clear how this community should interact with them and how we can participate.
I think that's an important part of the content for the Budget 101 presentation is how is there any feedback that we can provide them? And if so, when and where and how, like Joni had mentioned before. Okay, so we'll include that in that presentation. Okay, so do I have a motion that we change May from outdoor recreation to Budget 101?
Make a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, all right. All right, we have spent over our time. My timekeeper said we went way over on that one. So I'm gonna move us along pretty fast. So the next item is item number 10, and this is community engagement. So Brandon, can you put up here on another piece of paper? I just want to list some things that we are currently doing. And the reason for this particular agenda item is it's really marketing. Like, how can we get neighbors here? We want to know our neighbors. We want to know together, like, how can we solve things? How can we provide these feedback loops to our community and make it stronger? So currently we're advertising our CAB meetings. If you just write this down, Brandon, and then we're going to add to it. We use the Spanish Spring CAB meeting webpage. We definitely put the agenda and the videos up on that webpage. We use the CMail District 4 list subscribers. It's another way that we get things out. We use social media like Nextdoor. And I know Brad and I put it out on our neighborhood. I don't know if you have a Facebook. I have a Facebook page from my neighborhood and I put it out on that and he puts it out on his. And we put it out on Nextdoor. Another suggestion was, can we put a flyer in the Spanish Springs Library? Can we put a flyer at the City of Sparks building? We currently put the CAB recordings on YouTube. So you're able to watch these live. I know it's not like a movie. Our directing is pretty bad, but we do try. And then another suggestion was HOA publications. Now I know my particular HOA has no publication that they send out. His does, but you're not an HOA, you're a ALMA. So what else could we do to get people here? Any other ideas?
We already have.
Yeah, this is stuff we already are doing. So board members, do you have any other ideas of what we might do? Right now we have an average attendance of, it's in one of these papers, my Lord, there's a lot of papers. An average of 23. That's not even 10% of the Spanish Springs population.
0.11.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you guys can think of that we could do?
You're hitting all the big points between social media, email lists. Short of applying a banner over Spanish Springs.
With the plane, yeah.
I personally don't have a plane, but.
That neighborhood magazine that we get, does anyone know the editor of that? If we did, would they be able to maybe for free advertise our meetings in those?
Time we get one, we'll have to look at it.
I've been thinking about calling the editor and just asking as a public service to our Spanish Spring community members. Oh, Brad said, oh, yeah, I know. He said he wanted coffee and donuts at the meeting. I said, I don't have the budget for that. I mean, I got some yays on that one. So could you put down that, I'm gonna contact the editor of that HOA magazine and just ask, would they do that as a free service for us? That we would appreciate that.
Would you do the same for us on the HOA board, tell, advertise when our meetings are?
Yeah, yeah, that would be nice too, because I know that the
Judge
HOA
each other,
board,
that's
they
right.
have the same thing. People aren't coming,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
Yeah. Yes, another suggestion.
You list the topics of discussion that will be in the meetings. Maybe if, instead of just saying, here's a board meeting, why don't you list the topics of discussion? That might draw.
Yeah, they're coming up. We do list the topic, you know, for that
Fine.
month, but what you're suggesting is maybe we list the upcoming ones too.
Yep.
And I think there's another suggestion.
So there's a sign for the concerts in the summer out in front of the library. Have that sign a week before the meeting, meeting coming up.
Oh, that's a good idea. Who owns that sign? Is it Parks and Rec? I think so, because it's Lazy Five.
Someone at Washoe County.
That's Washoe County.
Do we have a connection?
Yeah.
When the traffic moves so slow, everybody can read it.
That's a great idea. So that was that sign out here, the Lazy Park sign. That if we posted that like a week in advance, yeah, that's another one. Any other suggestions from anyone? Yes.
Hi, I'm Veronica Cortez. I'm actually on the cab in Sun Valley. I'm visiting. So
Oh,
thank you for your hospitality. It's very informative to visit the other cabs. I've actually been to the North Valleys, I've been visiting cabs specifically in Sun Valley. When I started attending the meetings as a resident, there was maybe 10 of us in the room. Sun Valley's really big.
Oh,
So,
you're supposed to go up there, right?
well, everybody else wasn't.
I know.
But you stated your name?
Yes, thank you. What I do is I go to local businesses and have them donate a little something. Panaderia would donate the bread. I have a pizza place. I donated pizza. And then you're working with the community. They're getting a little spot, the crispy chicken place or whatever. And people, since it's 6 o'clock, that's dinner time. So we have like a little snack or something that motivates people. We have about maybe 30 or 40 people that show up now every meeting just to see what's on the menu.
That's okay.
Because I don't tell anybody what they're gonna have. They have to show up.
That's a great idea. Donations, food donations. What's that?
We haven't had dinner yet. He came straight from work.
I know, you're hungry.
Right, so the longer you talk.
Yeah, okay.
Growling.
All right, hunger is important.
Yeah.
Well, that's why people don't want to come.
Because it's dinner time.
It's dinner time.
Yeah.
Either that or you have to go out and fight the traffic. You've already fought it once, now you gotta fight it again.
Yeah, so timing. So put down, time may be an issue. Okay, all right, now we're gonna move on to agenda number 11, and thank you for that input. I think you have some great ideas. So agenda number 11 is cabinet terms, and I just want to say that we do have this handout. And I always think that succession of community appointments is important. And so if you're thinking of being on the cab, this is when different members, their term expires. And so if you are interested, those board members that they end this June is Shannon and Brandon and Brad. Talk to the commissioner. And if anybody in the audience is interested in being on the cab, talk to the commissioner.
There's a vacancy.
Yes, that's not going to be filled for right now because they're doing the areas different.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to item number 12, board and commissioner openings. I have a flyer here that says there are none. Passing that one on. Agenda item number 13, Candy.
Hello, everyone. My name is Candy Ramos. I work for Washoe County. Each month, we like to share the upcoming neighborhood developer meetings. So any programs or new developments that might be coming to the area. I would like to share my screen really quickly with everyone. So you get out of this. So you can find this if you go to the Washoe County homepage. There is a search tool. If you just type in neighborhood developer meetings, this will come up. This is our little hub. This has everything that's coming up or has recently passed. So there's both a map version as well as a project list. And there are no upcoming events in District 4 or in the area. However, there is, and I think Commissioner Andrew will speak to this, there is some equine business meetings coming up shortly, which will be added to this page as well. And there is a flyer over there, but there are no upcoming neighborhood developer projects. If you do want to sign up to receive developer meetings directly to your inbox, you can do that by visiting washoecounty.gov. On the homepage, there's an opportunity to sign up for various lists. You all live in District 4. Hopefully you're already subscribed to that. And then there are also neighborhood developer meetings. So if you clicked this box and added your email address to subscribe, you would receive those directly to your inbox. So you're always aware of any upcoming developer meetings and you can provide feedback at that time. Okay, thank you.
All right, we're moving on to agenda number 14 for public comment. And again, if you did not fill out a form, you can still do so. You can grab a form up there. But I'm going to call on Rob Pierce.
All right. Hi, my name is Rob Pierce for the record. Some of you may know me. I was here last year as part of the Planning Commission. I am a planning commissioner for District 5. I live, if you live north of the river, then I represent you because I've got a huge area. I'm also on the Board of Adjustments. I'm on an airport board, a couple airport boards, and a few other little boards. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I really, really enjoy what I'm doing. In fact, I enjoy it so much and I care so much about you guys that I'm going to put my name in for Washoe County Commissioner for District 5. And I'm hoping that I can get each and every one of your support for it. Some of the things that are coming up out here in terms of development, I hear you guys. I hear your cries. I hear your concerns about traffic and all that. And I want you to know that I'm doing everything I can to make, if I make a decision to approve a project, it's got safety all written all over it. If it doesn't have police and it doesn't have fire, any of the safety aspects of it, I automatically say no. And I will make that promise to you guys every single time that I see an agenda item. It can't stop development, but we can make it smart development. I also wanted to let you guys know that the Reno Stead Airport is redoing their master plan. I don't know if you guys have heard of that or not, but on the 19th of this month at the Red Rock Fire Station, and that's at 11525 North Red Rock Road, there's going to be a couple people, Lisa Butterfield and Jed Hammer, are going to be speaking about that. And I'd like to invite each and every one of you guys to that if you'd like to come. It's going to last probably about an hour. They're going to talk about where they're at, where they're going, what this whole project looks like. And anyways, if you guys, another thing I wanted to talk to you about is if you do want to do a dark sky presentation, I do have one. I'm fully in support of the dark sky thing. In fact, I'm one of the ones that pushed it, and Claire is the one that brought it up in front of the county commissioners. So I've got a lot of information on it. If you guys do want a presentation, it's about a 15-minute PowerPoint presentation, and I would love to put it on for you guys. As far as I heard you guys talk about how to get an email out to planning commissioners and people that care. If you guys go to that hub that she was just showing you and you click on whatever the development is, it'll talk about there's planners. There'll be 2 planners on there, and you can send an email to them. Oh, sorry, I'm out of time. Anyway, send an email to them and then send an email to each and every planning commissioner or board of adjustment members there is. We do read your emails and your public comment does count.
Thank you. Rob, excuse me, what time was that meeting?
6:30.
6:30, thank you. Okay, Veronica?
Six thirty. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30. 6:30.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Veronica Cortez. I'm part of the Citizens, the microphone, sorry, I got confused. I'm part of the Citizens Advisory Board out in Sun Valley. 100% attendance since I've been on the board. I've been out in Sun Valley. Well, I was born in 77 in St. Mary's. My grandparents came from Texas. And I'm tired. I'm tired of the conditions that we are living in. And elections are coming up. And we really need to know who are the candidates, what they're for, what they're going, what they're saying about us, and if they're adequately representing us. They're taking our money and they're doing other things with it. They're putting it in their pocket. Where's our $5 to $6 million that we lost on tax? They should have taken care of this road. Why are the planning people lying about it, saying it only takes 10 minutes to go from Hobee's to the freeway? Why are they telling us that we have great bike lanes when they're not even clean because we have one street sweeper for all of Washoe County? I've been going to meetings for over a year now. Rob knows me from the planning meetings. The commissioner knows me from our TC meetings. What do? I'm a lunch lady. Oh, you know me too. If you know me, you know me. If you have the blue and yellow pin, I'm a local notary. I'm helping people get their powers of attorney taken care of parents, taking care of the community. Now the kids need to get something notarized for DMV. Wherever I can help, that's where I am. My main hub is Sun Valley. I own the Buy Right Pizza right there on the corner of 7th Street and Sun Valley Boulevard. I invite you to come out. I have pins if you'd like a pin. I have menus, We're trying to, work together as a community. My daughter just bought a place over here on Junebug, so I'm over the hill all the time. That's why I go to these meetings. We need to find out who are our candidates. Where did they come from? We need to vote local. We need to follow the checkbook. We need to see where it's going. We deserve our money. That's our money. I've been with the Washoe County School District since 1999. I've been feeding kids on a $30,000 budget, and people are calling me a unionized kitchen worker, and my opinion doesn't matter because when I say I can't afford affordable housing that they're approving, well, then I'm just a unionized kitchen worker. I'm not the lunch lady who's feeding the kid with no shoes. I'm not the lunch lady making sure this kid has double food because they're a foster. And I don't know when the next time they're gonna eat. That's where it starts. We have to take care of our community. I'm not on any big boards. No, I own a pizza place. I'm a local mobile notary, and I'm going to all these meetings because I care. My grandparents are passed. They don't have to travel, but I hear the people saying they can't get to their appointments. RTC is constantly lying to us. Some of the planning people are lying to us. We need to get the corruption out, and we need to get the honesty and the integrity back into Washoe County. I'm a Virginia Plummer, Billinghurst, and Reed kid. It was hard to get from Sun Valley to Reed in 1996. We didn't have the buses. We didn't have this accessibility. Most of us dropped out of high school and picked up crystal meth. Luckily, some of us are running for County Commissioner District 5 and hope to get your vote.
Thank you. Joni.
That's a hard act to follow, but I'm not running for commissioner. Still can't get over the RTC meeting that they had in December at Red Hawk. I don't know how many of you attended. It was so ridiculous. It was so offensive to me. I don't know that I've attended a public meeting that was so ridiculous. They had maybe 50 chairs and at least 200 people showed up. And then they talked for maybe 10 minutes. There was no public comment. There was no interaction, even though they had sets of information out to look at. Everything was do the QR code. We want your input. That isn't a way to hold a public meeting about something of significance. All of us here are impacted by traffic every day. And if that over the hill goes, it's going to be worse.
Yeah.
It's not going to be better. And as Tom brought up and others, why would we put a 2-lane road in? We're overrun with cars now. It's so ridiculous. And they've already provided findings. So the decision is made. So even though they want our opinion, it's way too late. And I don't know how this train got going, but it's a mess. And I would also recommend, since I didn't get to talk about this matter earlier, if we have RTC, we should have NDOT in the room. If we have NDOT, we should have RTC, because I hear a lot of this. Well, that's NDOT. I don't care if it's NDOT. I don't care if it's the feds. I don't care if it's city or county. Something needs to be done.
Right, 2 years ago or 3, we had both here in one evening.
And there wasn't enough
Like 2
time.
hours, but it's good.
So again, I'll finish by saying, I know and I appreciate that the chair wants to keep our meeting short. But sometimes having a meeting short is a way that we can't ask the questions that need to get asked. So I would rather sit here 3 hours if we had a lot of Q&A with RTC and NDOT. That affects us all every minute of every day of our lives.
Thank you. Okay, next speaker is Tom.
Thank you. My name's Tom Ziegler. I'm a resident here for the last 2 years, moved here from Arizona. And just getting used to Washoe County at this point. Live up in Harris Ranch, and at this point, we have, I don't know how many of you were here a month ago when Craig spoke, but we are being invaded off the master plan with about 700,000 square foot of warehouses they'd like to put in just north of the Donovan property between Pyramid Way and Harris Ranch. This would mean a major change in the master plan. The master plan was just re-envisioned in Vision 2040 2 years ago from 15 years prior. This still had that area being rural residential. They are asking it to be rezoned to industrial. I will say we've had great conversations with the planning department. Our senior planner in charge of this has been very responsive to both Craig and myself. It is a very complex application, obviously, but it looks like it's coming to a head. Have not heard officially, but probably for the February Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. And it's going to come to them for a yay or a nay. We did find out from Kat Oakley, the planner, that it is everything that we put into them in writing will go to the planning commissioners. And that is a must. So I would say that if anyone has feelings about this, obviously we do. I don't see the reason for a master plan if we're not going to stick to the master plan. This is 40 acres. There's another probably 8 10-acre parcels right next to it. This ends up going industrial. Wants to keep the entire stretch all the way up to Kings River Drive, moving industrial. To me, it's an invasion of our residential zoning. This is not what the plan stated, and we do have a petition. I have it with me tonight if anyone would like to sign for the area. From Harris Ranch, we have contacted in person 110 residents. I think there's 140 that have closed in the area now. We have 96%. 4 people have chosen not to sign, mainly because they don't sign petitions, period. But anyway, we'd just like to tell you, please attend that Planning and Zoning Commission meeting if you have a feeling about this. They want to have ingress egress right onto Pyramid Way with semi trucks. So I do have a petition.
Question. My understanding that the zoning did not go through. The zone change. It was put in September 8th, and it has not made it to the Planning Commission yet. It's so complex. They said it would either be January or February. It did not make January. It's not that complex.
Well, whatever. It's about a 160-page application.
I know.
Okay, you're maybe aware of it, but anyway, it's there. And if you'd like further information after the meeting, Craig and I are here and be happy to talk to you about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, we're gonna move on now to agenda item 15. And do the board members, do you have any announcements other than our next meeting is February 4th and the topic is the Hope Team City of Sparks? No.
Thank you for a good meeting.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna move on to agenda item 16, and I'd like to invite Commissioner Andriola up for announcements.
I'm gonna sit in that chair next time. Get my steps in.
Bunch of running around.
First of all, thank you all for coming. Really, it's great to see some new faces. I hope we see you on a regular basis. Thank you to the board for having what I believe is the first strategic planning meeting for a CAP. So like anytime you do the first time, I thought you guys did a great job. And so I just want to take an opportunity to say thank you for all you do as well. And how we can, you know, do what we can to serve the information that's useful for specific, our area, our community. So what a great night. Like it's very different than a normal meeting, right? And hopefully we'll see some of the benefits of all these great ideas that everybody had. But I do have some announcements that I'd like to share. Seems that everybody is aware of the RTC meeting that happened. There were, just to let everyone know, I had attended as well. And at the table, I said to the folks at the table I was sitting at, and I said, I bet you there's 300 people in here. So there was some discussion. Guess how many people were there? 297. So that gives you an idea of the capacity of the room. It was definitely well attended. I do think it's important, although this is the public, this flyer that's there is the public meeting notice for the meeting that happened. But why I printed it out is so that this is where you can go, this URL right here. You can go, if you miss the meeting, the video's there. All the presentation materials are there. Everything, if you missed, or if you didn't miss and you want to look at it again, you're welcome to do that. So you can get all the information that was shared that evening. The other opportunity is through January 16th is they're taking feedback. So that was the other reason for me printing up this, so that you can go to this either QR code or use this URL. And right there, when you open it up, you'll see that you can provide your feedback form. And they do listen. I know that that's hard, what we're hearing tonight, and I realize and appreciate what everyone's saying. But if you don't say anything, and it's helpful because that does go on the record and it is looked at. Part of the presentation that I would encourage you to actually look at, they lightly spoke about the fact that they are going, meaning RTC is going to be looking at, and they are in discussions and even a study of looking at rail. So it isn't a done deal that I see.
Oh, good.
I'm just saying, I don't see it as a done deal the way it seems that it has been portrayed. They are looking at all options. The result of this presentation was based on a feasibility study, and they are just presenting what that independent study revealed. So I'm just letting you know, I'm not defending it. I'm just being fact-based. It's how I roll. Facts matter. And in order for you to gather the facts, I think it's important for you to go on and look at it and then read, look at everything, watch the presentation. And more importantly, you can call. There's a list on that website where you can call people too. So if you want and you have questions, I would encourage you to call. The other, this is, if you see a teardrop, this is, so I got into this adventure in April of 2023. And one of the very first things in terms of an initiative was looking at the equine codes and the ordinances within Washoe County for equine business. I could do a whole presentation myself and the chair would be definitely cutting me off because it's too long and I'm going to limit my time, but I am going to say this. Equine ordinances have not been looked at in over 20 years. Have we changed? Do y'all think? A little bit. I will say it there's complexity to this topic. And I'll add this last comment. The reality is that this, if you want to spend the time, we'll talk. You want me to talk about what I see are some opportunities for improving. There are plenty. And where I'm going with this is a lot of times there's complexity with various things. Washoe County has its place with an ordinance, but then other things are triggered. For instance, a business license, some of that actually is triggered by legislation in Carson City. And then that gets triggered to fire, which is outside of the jurisdiction of Washoe County. And then it gets triggered to environmental, and then it gets triggered to water. So pretty soon, if you put the map of how things get triggered, it's not just the Washoe County ordinance. It's a very good lesson in regulations upon regulations upon regulations and what those unintended consequences are when that happens. The short of this is we're going to try and untangle the Christmas lights with a lot of hands that are all trying to help at the same time. Can you imagine that? That's what we're going to try and do. And so Washoe County is committed to this. I'm so excited to share that we've done some work in 2024. Some studies have been done with best practices, and Washoe County staff has done a great job in that. But on this are 3 opportunities for public feedback and input. And also I know it's a surprise, there's a QR code. Each meeting is essentially the same. You're welcome to attend all 3 meetings, but you don't have to. If you wanted to attend the one in right here, Spanish Springs Library on Tuesday, January 27th at 5:30, then you won't feel necessarily neglected by missing these 2. There are 2 in-persons, and then there's 1 Zoom online. So it's up to you, whatever you want to do to participate. There also is an opportunity for you to go to the Washoe County website and provide feedback as well. So I better quit because this is a very, we need to preserve our Western heritage, and this is an opportunity to do that. But we have to balance that with the fact that we also are a community of many, and we have different interests and different ways of looking at things. And so I'm really, really hopeful that we all can participate in that. The last thing I just want to share is what was already brought up. So one of the things that another initiative was looking at having Washoe County look at the dark skies ordinance and looking at actually strengthening that. The Washoe County Commission as a whole looks at priorities because guess what? There's always a million things that need to be done. There's only so many hours in the day. We have incredible staff that work really, really hard. And I suppose if they didn't sleep, they could get everything done, but that is not the balance of how you can be productive. And so we as commissioners, as a body, we voted on prioritizing projects. And at that time, the equine, for instance, was number 2. And now it got moved up to number 1 because number 1 got complete. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So equine is number 2. Guess where dark skies is? This is a test to see if you can. Well, 2 is now, 2 was equine. Where do you think dark skies is?
5.
3. You're supposed to say 3. It's now 1 and 2 to whoever said 2. You were following 1 and 2. So dark skies will be coming up. Again, staff has to concentrate on doing their job and doing it thoroughly and taking one big project at a time. So we'll see that opportunity when the time comes, and there'll be opportunities for feedback from the community. So on that note, Madam Chair, I don't really have anything else other than to say happy holidays. I hope everyone had a great, great Christmas. And more importantly, I hope that we have a wonderful, wonderful 2026. And don't think that there isn't an opportunity again for you to participate in offering topics. Just because we did this tonight and this great group of people did this, there isn't a restriction for you. to offer feedback, so I'll just open that up again. So thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you all very
Thank you,
much.
Commissioner. Okay, with that, do I have a motion to end the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Got several seconds.
Thirds, fourths.
We had 30 of them.
All right, thank you all for coming. Really, really appreciate you being here.
Right on.
Thanks.